Yes, these are new glasses. So if you are a K-pop collector, I'm sure you have seen these things called platform versions. In some cases, they are called Weverse versions, if they're sold on Weverse. In my most recent anti-haul video that I did, check that out if you haven't seen it, I tried to really emphasize how popular these are becoming, as well as digipacks and jewel cases, but those are for another day. And now JYP has made an announcement that kind of implies that they are going to get rid of physical albums in favor of these platform versions. And I see a lot of confusion, a lot of thoughts on this change and how that's going to impact the future of K-pop collectors. And I thought it'd be a good time to sit down, share my thoughts, because boy, do I have a lot of thoughts. The first time I remember seeing these appear has to be Victon's chronograph earlier this year in 2022. I have no memory of these being a thing before then, but I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but I do think that Play M, or I guess now it's IST Entertainment, kind of started the trend of platform versions, because I remember Victon did it, Wiggly did it not too long after. All the groups of that company have been doing these. The next company I could think of that started doing these has to be Hybe, or just Weverse in general. And with a big company like Hybe jumping on this, it's not too surprising that other smaller companies are going to follow this trend, making it become a more popular thing. Plus, they're a lot easier to make than normal albums. In simple terms, it's like a paper envelope with photo cards in it with some kind of way to digitally access the album, most likely through a QR code. At least that's how I think these work. I've never actually opened a platform version. So, let's do that. There's a platform version in here. I'm going to open it. So this is a platform version. This is for Billy's Pat Bing-su single that they did. So yep, it's a little piece of paper thing. It's gonna open up and voila, photo cards. So we have a little mini photo book thingy. Cute. We have some Suki photo cards. Cool stickers. We have a Sean, and this is my QR code on the back. And this is like a thicker card. Yeah. So there it is. That's a platform version. I do hear the comparison to Kino kits a lot with these, and I can see it. They're both alternate ways of getting an album without a physical CD. They are much smaller and primarily are bought because of special photo cards. However, you know, Kino kits are going to be their own video someday, okay? We're putting a pin in that. We're moving on. The initial pitch of platform versions is they are better for the environment, which is good. That's good. I approve of that message. There is a huge issue with K-pop albums in the environment with all this bulk buying, whether it's people wanting to get into fan signs or just wanting to collect all the photo cards. Then there are people who will take this surplus of albums and just dump them on the street. Don't do that. Now, do I think everyone's doing this? No. But there is still an issue here. K-pop CD sales have been at an all-time high. If you pay attention to the statistics, I'm sure you have seen everyone is just breaking their records with each comeback. This could be because of just the general rise in popularity of K-pop, but I think a big part of it is the pandemic. Before, fan signs were just for people in Korea or nearby who could attend the fan signs. But with the pandemic, fan signs were not a thing, and a lot of companies merged to doing video calls, which opened it up to international fans all around the world. That's what international means. I mean, I am definitely guilty of bulk buying to get into video calls. I have like 20 copies of Hua's last album. Why? There is definitely an issue here. Maybe maybe an answer. I don't know if it's the answer. Here are my thoughts in general on platform versions, okay? There's an idea here. I just don't think it's being executed very well. And maybe that's because they have just started, so they're still trying to flesh out the idea. Or maybe they just aren't the right solution. The first issue I have has to deal with how they do the photo cards. So going off of the idea that platform versions are a good alternative for people who want to bulk buy albums for photo cards. Well, the photo cards in platform versions are not the same as the photo cards in the real physical photo book album. So instead, what you have now created is people have now more things to bulk buy to get more photo cards. Do you understand what I'm saying here? If your intention is to stop people from bulk buying the album so they can get the photo cards without the waste of the album, why not put those photo cards in the platform version? Don't make them different. The second issue I have is, what do I do with these? Now, people are bulk buying these for fan signs. How do they get rid of the extras? Like, this isn't really something to sell used. Like, I imagine you can sell the photo cards on their own without selling the whole platform version, because I don't know how many people would just want this. Now, regular albums you can sell without the photo cards pretty easily, some kind of harder than other, but you can sell them for a very cheap price. I don't know how that would work in the platform version. Who's going to want to buy this piece of paper without the photo cards? I mean, granted, if you were to throw this away, it is obviously better to throw this away than an album. I just can't imagine throwing away an album. And now I will say, because I've seen this starting to happen already, the platform versions are probably going to upgrade in appearance to make them more worthy of collecting for people like me, because I don't know about you, if you're a collector, I like to have something that I can display. To make me want to buy these platform versions, you're going to want to make them better than just like a piece of paper. Like, if K-pop albums were just sold in jewel cases, I wouldn't be a K-pop collector, right? Where's the fun in that? The fun of K-pop collecting is how innovative the packaging is. And I imagine that's probably going to happen with platform versions if they continue or try to take over the normal K-pop albums that we're used to seeing. So I imagine K-pop collectors are going to want these to be cool. People who are just bulk buying these for fan signs or photo cards probably don't care as much for the appearance and are really just hoping they can sell these off after they get what they wanted. But with the collectors wanting something cool, I'm sure the companies are going to try to put in more and more effort on making these unique. Yes, it is a slippery slope fallacy of kind of what I'm saying here, but I just feel like we're gonna kind of end up back in the same place of, we start with something simple and people are just going to try to one up each other until we're just kind of back to where we started, of having cool, innovative packaging. Like I said, it's a fallacy, so I could be totally wrong. But I also kind of already see it. Like, it's not even been a full year of these things, and already we're seeing kind of new takes on these versions. But to its credit, even if these were to get more fancy, I think at the end of the day, they are still better than buying a photo book that is bigger than my face. Or the box albums that are this thick, but then there's a cardboard box like that thick inside of it because there's not enough content to fill the box. Why is that a thing? And the third issue I have, which I really already touched upon, is I just want something to look cool. I like having a collection to display. I don't want to collect these. Give me the option, which right now, for the most part, that's the case. For single albums, I think this is kind of a nice touch. Like this didn't have a other physical release. This was the physical, and it makes sense. It was 2 songs. And I complain so often about buying albums for 1 song. So this is nice, even though it still was kind of pricier than it really should be. But I still don't want to buy these things because the main appeal is so you can get the photo cards, but I'm someone who sells photo cards. I don't collect them. What do I do with this? I guess I can just like display it, but like if they get multiple of these, like, do you see my frustration here? They don't do much for me. Like, it's cute, but it's not the fun of an album. I don't know. Well, like I said before, I think it's a good idea for platform versions to have the same photo cards as regular versions if they do plan on having both versions as options. I also think they can make it so platform versions are the only version that count towards fan signs. I mean, I had a Make Star fan call at the beginning of the year. There wasn't a physical album for it. You bought photo cards to get into the fan call. I don't see how this is any different. And a lot of the fan calls I see, only one of the versions counts. So if there's a photo book version and a jewel case version, the jewel case version typically doesn't get you into the fan sign. Only the photo book version does. So make it so the platform versions are essentially like the fan sign versions. So people can bulk buy those to get into the fan signs. Now, there is an issue there because a lot of people do group orders when applying for fan signs. And I imagine a lot of people aren't going to participate in a group order for platform versions and would much rather participate in a group order for the regular photo book version. So, but I imagine there's Ew, why is your tail wet? Shy Guy. You stepped on my platform. Oh my god. But I imagine you could probably still do group orders with platform versions. After all, people love photo cards. Now, going off of that, what are things you can do to help the environment and still be a K-pop collector? Join group orders. Or you can just buy used albums. Like, I don't understand the stigma behind buying a used album. It doesn't make you less of a fan because your purchase isn't counting towards the chart. No, don't give into that mindset, okay? For one, you are saving money buying a used album. And two, you are helping someone who wants to get rid of it. But ultimately, the change is not on us. It's higher up. It's the companies. There has been a push of doing more eco-friendly packaging with albums. I believe YG has been kind of pushing that a bit with their packaging. It also helps that they just never release albums. So these are good steps. Companies, could just stop making a bunch of versions. JYP, I bought 9 distinct versions of that ITZY album. That is insane. They could stop making an impossible number of photo cards to collect. There just needs to be a change in the culture and the promotion of bulk buying albums. I don't think so. K-pop packaging changes all the time with all these different trends. I mean, you see the regular photo books, the boxes, the jewel cases, the bags, pouches, envelopes, even the Kino kits. And I'm surprised those still exist, but those never took the place of buying normal albums. And I don't think these will take the place of normal albums either. At least I hope not. This year in general has just been so confusing and stressful as a collector. Like, just so many versions being released of these albums that really does feel like the bubble's about to pop. And sure, I can adjust to the trends and make my own changes, not buying all these versions, not buying member versions or the jewel cases. And I do talk about this on my anti-haul a bit. So if you want to hear more about that, you should check out the series. It's a monthly series that I do every month. I hope to see companies limit the amount of versions they make while still keeping the fun of K-pop collecting. There's no need to have more than 2 versions. I am totally cool with platform versions existing. I would just like the choice to have the regular physical album. I mean, I've also seen kind of a trend this year of having compact versions, which is a cool idea as well, of having the normal bigger version or a smaller Still fun to collect version. It's still better than buying a jewel case, or at least it still has more of the fun of the original version. But these are good steps. These are good things to exist. Even if I personally don't like them because I just collect too much. I'm the issue there. I do sometimes kind of wonder with this regression back to simpler packaging with jewel cases and digipacks if we're just going to kind of end up going full circle. We're going back to the simpler packaging and it's just going to create that competition again of, well, people are more likely to buy cooler, more innovative packaging. I mean, I can already think of 2 albums from this year that sold very successfully, and I think a lot of that has to do with how cool the packaging was, as well as the songs being pops. The first I can think of is Red Velvet Feel My Rhythm Oral version, which is so cool and creative. And then New Jeans having a bag. Like, those are just cool, and people want to buy that because it's unique and something that you can just show off, be like, oh my god, look at this. This is cool. So I do think at the end of the day, cool, innovative packaging is always just going to be on top. But change is going to come, it seems. And whatever change ends up coming to K-pop album packaging, I'm sure there will be pushback, but a change is needed. Are these the answer? Let me know. What are your thoughts on platform versions? Are you a collector? Do these entice you? Are you a photo card collector? So are these more fun for you? Do you bulk buy? Please let me know your thoughts because I am very curious. What do you think could be done for the environment, whether it's from K-pop collectors or K-pop companies? Is there anything I missed? There's not a lot out there on these versions as they are fairly new. So any information you have to share, please comment below. I've got to go. Have a lovely time of day wherever, whenever you are. Bye.